I'm Getchin Sherry with Home Snatch Realty. In this episode of Let's Talk Real Estate, I'll go over 20 questions designed to help you pass the state exam. If this is your first time to this channel, please consider subscribing, and I thank you for watching. Let's get right into it. Part 15, the real estate market and analysis, 20 fill-in and multiple choice questions. 1%. So there's one question on this chapter. Number one, the real estate market can be best described as being blank and blank. Well, the real estate market is inefficient and it's unorganized. What do we mean by that? The real estate market is not controlled by any organization or any entity. The market itself is determined based on supply and demand. The real estate market is influenced by where it's located. So, for example, you can live in one particular city and your neighboring city is a whole different market. The prices of the homes are totally different. So it's not organized. There's no set price. Number two, the real estate market is blank to respond to changes in supply and demand. That's what we're discussing. The real estate market is very slow to respond to changes in supply and demand. What is that saying? Well, the market, now keep in mind, don't look at 2021 because 2021 was a fluke. That was a perfect storm. However, generally speaking, real estate market is very slow to change. So supply and demand, you usually will see, usually there's a gap within maybe 6 months to a year, or sometimes even 3 years before you can see a trend, before the market will shift one way or another. So about a year, 12 months or more, that's when you will see a shift in the market. Number three, a blank market exists when there is an excess of demand over supply. Well, that would be a seller's market. And a seller's market, that is when supply is short of demand. So demand exceeds supply. In a seller's market, demand exceeds supply. So if you have less of a commodity and the demand is high, you can see how the price will increase. So a seller's market, that's when more people want to buy a home than there are home available. So therefore, seller gets to dictate the price. Number four, population, credit, income, and consumer preferences are related to blank for real estate. Well, that is the demand for real estate. So the population, that's the number of people. The credit, that gives you access to financing. Your income shows your ability to pay back that loan. And of course, your preference is going to determine where you're going to live, what style of home you're going to buy, assuming you can afford it. That is called demand. All of that come together. That's what's influencing demand. Number five, the availability of materials, labor, financing, and land are all associated with blank of real estate. Well, all those things are associated with the supply side. So you make the income, you qualified, but the financing, the money has got to be available. Laborers build the property. Land, if a place is oversaturated, overpopulated, there's a scarcity of land because everything is already built on. Material, as you know, it takes many, many, many different things to build a home. So all of it affect the supplied side. So material, labor, financing, and availability of land will affect the supply, whether homes are being built or not. Number 6, a good balance between supply and demand for residential real estate is indicated when the vacancy rate is approximately blank blank. Well, a good balance between supply and demand is when vacancy rates are approximately 5%, meaning the market, you have about 5% of homes that are basically on the market. So that's what that is basically saying, the difference. So you want, if the market is going, let's say we have 10%, then now we leaning towards a buyer's market. Well, if there are no supply, we are leading towards a seller's market. But the balance is approximately 5%. Number 7, an economic term used to identify value which results from the location of a parcel of land is blank. Well, let's address two things here. Parcel means a piece of land. So what they're saying is the economic terms that we use. So we use the term situs. Situs value refers to location value. So if the land is in a particular city, a particular neighborhood, it may be worth a lot more. The market value will be a lot more because of its location. So you probably heard the terms location, location, location. When it comes to real estate, it's all about location. So where the property is located determines the value. So we can be in the same city, but you are located in a different side of town, then your property may be worth more, even though my property may be bigger, but because of your location, your property could be worth more. Number 8, the use that creates the highest value to the land is its blank and blank use. Well, that is the highest and best use. How do you create the greatest value? That means, so if you can imagine, if you have a vacant piece of land, vacant, nothing is on there, well, that is the least productive way of using your property, but you can be holding on to it for investment purposes. But if you build something on it, what is going to give you the greatest return? Is it going to be a restaurant, a condo, an apartment building? Whatever is going to give you the greatest return, that is the highest and best use of the property. The highest value will give you, that's the highest and best use. Number 9, price and demand are inversely related. This means that demand will typically decrease as prices blank, and prices decrease as demand will typically blank. So what are we saying here? We are saying that demand will decrease when prices go up. This is what we are experiencing in 2022, in 2023. Demand will typically decrease as prices go up. So higher demand, prices go up. Prices and demand are inversely. Inversely means they are opposite. This means that demand will typically go down when prices go up. And prices, when prices go down, demand will typically go up. Vice versa. That's what that's inversely mean. They are the opposite of each other. Number 10. Physically, real estate is characterized as being blank, blank, and blank. Well, real estate is referred to as indestructible, immobile, and heterogeneous. So, indestructible means the land cannot be destroyed. Can the land be damaged? An earthquake can damage the land, but the land can always be repaired if you have the proper technology. So the earth is always there. Immobile. It's immobile because you cannot take a home from one neighborhood and pick it up and take it to another neighborhood. So wherever the property is built, because it's attached to the land, that's where it stays. Your home is where it's located. It cannot be moved. Heterogeneous simply means it is diverse in character. They're not the same. Every piece of property is unique. Heterogeneous means diverse in character or content. Let me take a moment to say thank you for supporting. And if you have not subscribed, it's very simple. Just hover over that picture at the bottom of your screen and click subscribe, and you can check the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Number 11. What is the real estate market experiencing when the demand for available housing exceeds current supply? Well, in that case, if demand exceeds supply, we know we are in a seller's market. Example, 2021, that was a seller's market on steroids. That's simply that. What does the market do when the demand exceeds supply? I underline those words for you. When you're taking the exam, that's how you should read. You should highlight the keywords that would tell you what the answer should be. Number 12. All of the following are characteristics of the real estate market, except. That is an except question, meaning 4 answer choices. You have one that is not correct. Which one is that? Real estate is heterogeneous. Real estate is not homogeneous. So A is correct because heterogeneous is diverse in character. Immobility, well, real estate is not mobile. It's immobile. So B is correct. C, being inelastic in the short term. Remember earlier we talked about real estate is slow. The market is slow to change. Well, that's what they're talking about. It's not flexible. It takes a long time to show changes. So in the short run, you will not be able to see a big increase. Again, 2021 being the exception, but you understand. And of course, real estate is not a standard product. So they're saying to you, all of the following are characteristics of the real estate market, except, well, it is not a standardized product because each property is unique. Number 13, what type of commercial market would exist if there were an excess number of houses for rent? Well, that would be indicative of a buyer's market. So if there are a lot of property on the market for rent, that means people can afford to buy, people are buying, there are plenty of homes, and therefore you would be in a buyer's market. Number 14, concerning the characteristics of real estate, which statement is true? In this case, I would say D, because D says the markets in Florida and Oregon are unrelated. So prices in one have no effect on prices in the other. That is true. In fact, I shared with you a few minutes ago that prices in one neighborhood may be different from the prices in another neighborhood, even though they're in the same city. That's pretty simple. Oregon has a whole different market than Florida. So if I'm in Florida, if I live in Miami-Dade County, well, my home prices may be vastly different than someone who lives, let's say, in a different county. Okay, Orange County, whichever one you may pick. There are 67 counties. So that's what they're saying. The market is, every market is unique and independent of each other. Number 15, which of the following is a characteristic of the real estate market? Well, remember, real estate is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means is diverse in character. Well, you see, B says very quick to changes. We already said no, it's very slow to change. C says it's mobile. Mobile means you're on the move. You can move. Well, it's immobile. And D is the opposite of A. D says homogeneous, whereas homogeneous means the same, similar, or the same. That is not true. Real estate, the characteristic of real estate is heterogeneous. Number 16, all of the following are factors of production in a free enterprise system except. Well, here, that should be pretty simple, and I'll explain. Now, capital, effect, production. So remember, all are factors of production in a free enterprise system. Well, capital, money, you need money to produce. You need labor to produce. And good management, risk taking is, so controlling risk factors is part of the production. You don't want people who are producing your product to be in excess, to face high risk. So growth has nothing to do with it. Growth does not affect production. In fact, growth is the byproduct of good business practices. But to have production, you need money, you need labor, and you need to minimize your risks. Number 17, all of the following are physical characteristics of real estate, except, well, remember, this is asking you, all of these are physical characteristics except for one. Well, we already say A is correct, immobility, it's immobile. We say Situs value is based on the location value. Location dictates the value. And D says heterogeneous, that is diverse in character. Whereas homogeneous says it's the same. Well, every piece of property, every piece of real estate is unique. Unique means one of a kind. So therefore, C is incorrect. That's the except. Number 18, in which market would there be a shortage of housing? Well, a shortage of housing would only occur in a seller's market, because in a buyer's market, you have more supply than demand, whereas in a seller's market, you have less supply and more demand. Number 18, the highest and best use of a parcel of land is the use that creates which of the following? Well, we had another version of that question, but you can see that's the one that creates the greatest value for the land. The way you use the land can create the greatest value for the land. And number 20, all of the following are characteristics of real estate except, well, we all know that the market, the real estate market, is not homogeneous. So if they're telling you all of them are except, well, you know, D would be the answer, because that's a trick how they're asking the question. All of the following are characteristics of real estate except. So if you read A, B, C, those are all true statements, and those are all statements that I've mentioned. So let's see A. The market is local in nature. That's true. B, the market is slow to respond to changes in supply and demand. That is true. C, there is no central control over the market. That is true. We addressed that at the very beginning. If you don't believe me, go back and see it. Watch it again. So that is basically all of it. And once again, I thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and like. And yes, market is stabilizing now, and you're probably thinking about buying. Home Snatch Realty, that's where we are. That's our address. Feel free to contact us. You have my phone number there. And if you missed us, please leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All righty. That's it, folks. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.